The mutilated bodies of hundreds of children, believed to be victims of ritual sacrifice, have been uncovered in a large unmarked grave deep within the forest, on the grounds of what was supposed to be a safe haven, one of Oprah Winfrey's African schools for orphans. Instead of being protected, these parentless children were preyed upon. Many vanished without a trace, some sold overseas, while the rest were sacrificed in blood rituals and discarded like waste, their bodies buried in an unmarked grave. Locals close to the situation describe it as a highly organised operation, one so profitable the perpetrators believed they were untouchable, and claim that both law enforcement and the media were paid off to keep it quiet. Why isn't this front page news in every newspaper in the country? Where is the mainstream media? The short answer is mainstream media is hard at work covering up the crimes of the globalist elite, including the depraved crimes of Oprah Winfrey. Before we dive in, a quick word about VP.net, the next generation of private browsing. VP.net is the only VPN designed with true zero-logging architecture. That means, unlike other VPNs, it literally can't track you. So even if governments or bad actors come knocking, there's nothing to hand over. It's that simple. No logs, no leaks, no bullshit, period. Go to vp.net/TPV for more. Is the first African-American billionaire actually the world's most prolific pimp and child sex trafficker? According to investigators, Oprah Winfrey has been hiding in plain sight for decades, conspiring with some of the world's most notorious pedophiles and sex traffickers, and taking every opportunity to normalise child sexual abuse in public forums.
And I have said for years, if the abuser is any good, you won't even know it's happened.
Now that she knows we're onto her, historical episodes in which she normalises the most horrific crimes against children are being scrubbed from the internet.
It was used also in worshipping the devil, participated in human sacrifice rituals and cannibalism. You come from generations of ritualistic abuse?
Yes, my family has an extensive family tree. It's gone back to like 1700.
Does everyone else think it's a nice Jewish family? From the outside, you appear to be a nice Jewish girl.
Definitely.
And you all are worshiping the devil inside the home?
Right. There's other Jewish families across the country. It's not just my own family. There would be rituals in which babies would be sacrificed, and you would have to,
Whose babies?
There were people who bred babies in their family. No one would know about it. A lot of people were overweight, so you couldn't tell if they were pregnant or not. When I was very young, I was forced to participate in that, in which I had to sacrifice an infant.
And the purpose of sacrifice is to what? Is to bring you what? What are you sacrificing for?
For power.
Uh-huh. Power. And so, were you ever used? Were you ever used yourself?
I was molested. I was raped several times.
Mm-hmm. And what's your mother doing?
She's lives in the Chicago metropolitan area. She's on the Human Relations Commission of the town that she lives in, and she's an upstanding citizen. Nobody would suspect her.
An outstanding citizen who nobody would suspect? Almost sounds like Oprah herself, who has spent millions manipulating the media and carefully crafting an image that makes her look spotless, untouchable even. Oprah knows the stakes are sky high. Her sprawling empire, a glittering fortress, teetering on the rotten core of lies, manipulation and abuse. One wrong move and the whole thing could come crashing down. That's why Oprah became an expert at manipulating young stars.
It feels good. I mean, if you're 7 years old and somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is stroking your penis, it feels good. Right. Even though you don't have a name for what that is, it feels good.
According to the mainstream media, Oprah's laundry list of paedophile connections is just an unfortunate coincidence. It's like the extensive list of Clinton associates who wound up dead in bizarre circumstances, often committing suicide by putting 2 bullet holes in the back of their own head. One coincidence after another, for decades and decades. After Oprah's close friend Jerry Harris was sentenced to 12 years in prison on child sex crimes in July, the media fact-checked anybody who dared to point out that he was Oprah's protege. This was information they did not want to get out. But in reality, Harris was the star of Oprah's Netflix show Cheer, and she personally groomed him for the role. Then, like many of her other friends, Harris was exposed as a child rapist. But Jerry Harris was just the tip of the iceberg. Oprah's ties to the planet's richest, most depraved billionaire pedophiles, Epstein, Diddy, John of God, aren't some random fluke. John of God wasn't just Oprah's so-called faith healer, he was her business partner, tangled deep in each other's web of coercion and abuse of the worst kind. Think human egg farms, babies sold around the world to the highest bidder, and child sex factories, where the children don't have names or birth certificates. The kind of cursed places that former CIA agents have warned us about for years.
Oprah Winfrey ties to sex trafficking through convicted molester John of God. Now, this guy's crazy. I actually get a few chills from the story. I done extra research into John of God, doing a few more articles, and this guy's connected to some supernatural entity or something. Like, there's something going on. Anyway, Oprah Winfrey and her BFF. The man in this photo is, quote, John of God. Oprah promoted him as a miracle healer. This man kept women chained to impregnate so he could sell their babies for organs, adrenochrome harvesting for sex trafficking, for satanic sacrifice, and who knows what else. He was arrested in December of 2018. Did you hear about it in the mainstream media? No. There are more photos of Oprah and John of God. This is John of God and Maria Abdanovich.
Oprah legitimized the notorious sex criminal Zhao Teixeira, aka John of God, as a miraculous faith healer, one who could cure cancer, giving him international recognition. Zhao Teixeira is now serving 19 years in prison for the rape of 4 women. He is facing additional cases related to several sex crimes, including keeping teenage women as sex slaves in underground mines, forcing them to have his children, and selling their babies internationally for tens of thousands of dollars before murdering the women after about 10 years of childbirth. Oprah runs her own leadership academy for girls in Africa.
This was a huge global child trafficking operation involving elite VIPs that has been systematically swept under the carpet by the mainstream media. Why would they circle the wagons around such an evil figure? Because the media is bought and paid for by the elite, who are essentially buying them off to keep quiet about the skeletons in their closet. John of God is connected to Bill Clinton, Naomi Campbell, and Marina Abramovich, who filmed a documentary at his compound in Brazil in 2016.
Raising consciousness through art.
But the story gets even darker. Sabrina Bittencourt, the woman who originally blew the whistle and exposed the child trafficking operation, was found dead days after John of God was arrested. The authorities quickly ruled it was a suicide, but her son was quoted on social media as saying they killed my mother. Oprah refused to comment. She knew the media would cover for her. Because it wasn't just in Brazil that her close contacts were involved in the most horrific crimes tied to the international trade in children's bodies. What's been uncovered in Africa is beyond disturbing. It's more horrific than anybody imagined. We'll bring you the full story right after this message from our sponsor. Before we go on, I want to talk about a health secret I recently discovered that the system really doesn't want you to know about. Have you ever wondered what happened to Chuck Norris? You know, the guy the system could never tame. I recently watched a video he dropped, and it floored me. The man is 84 years old, and he's still out there kicking ass, crushing workouts, and running circles around his grandkids. Meanwhile, the mainstream media wants you to think that we're all supposed to be popping big pharma pills and fading away by his age. Well, not Chuck. Here's the kicker. He's stronger, got more stamina and energy to burn, and it's all because of one change. No dangerous prescriptions, no corporate health scams. He says he feels like he's in his 50s again. And I'm sitting here thinking, what's the catch? It turns out there isn't one. Chuck is not playing their game, and he's spilling the truth in this free video he made for you guys. You need to see it. Go to chuckdefense.com/TPV. The link is right below this video. This isn't some scummy infomercial from talking heads on television. It's the real deal. He's exposing the 3 silent killers the establishment don't want you to fix. Stuff they profit from as we age and deteriorate. This free video flips everything you've been fed about health on its head. So click that link, chuckdefense.com/TPV, and watch it now. It's simple, no bullshit truth. You'll wish you'd known this years ago.